Yeah, I haven't really got an intro planned, so just cue the intro thing.
Yeah.
That's the best intro we've ever done. Not that we plan of anyway. Good evening, everybody. Hope you're well, and welcome to Grumpy Old Reds. And we've literally got the three Scrooges because everyone else has social lives, and you're left with us. I don't know how you two ended up with me, man, but here you are. How's everyone in the chat doing? How's everyone feeling? Have temperatures come down from yesterday? Mine has not. Mine has not. And we're gonna jump into it straight away. Good to see you. Good to see you, Stoney. Happy holidays to everyone. Good to see you, Craig, in there. Let's you filtering in. Evening, Henny. Hope you're well. Get your thoughts, get your messages in. Chuck is still angry, man. I feel his anger from Australia. Good to see you, Sebastian. Good to see all of you. Jordan's in the house. Turbo J. Happy holidays, everyone. And Crypto, how are you, Scrooges?
Yeah, humbug.
Gone on.
That was it.
I'm all right. I mean, the elephant in the room, probably apart from me, is I guess the referee.
I wasn't expecting you to say that. Are we going to kick off with the ref? Should we just get it out of the way?
Just get it out of the way. Just get it out of the way, maybe. We've got a mention.
Can I kick off by giving Matt D a shout out?
You can.
He's one of our regulars, and I met up with him by chance, and he just happened to be sitting next to me. Can you believe the chances of that? So he was really good. He's a really good guy to know. He's a really good guy, and he travels up from south of Reading 2.5 hours every match.
Nice.
And Reading is a shithole, man. No offense, but I used to live in Bracknell. So
he's south of Reading in the posh bits.
Yeah. I can. To be fair, I can understand why you'd want to leave Reading every week.
Exactly, man. Exactly. I don't know if Matt's on the chat, but yeah, Reading was crap, man. Like I used to have to go there. Vodafone's head office is there, isn't it? Just outside of it, and there's like nothing else there either. But there he is, Matt himself. Evening, good to see you, mate, Matt. No offense about Reading, but man, growing up in Bracknell, what's an absolute dump that was. Reading actually is better than Bracknell. Madik, thank you so much for the 13 months. All right, this is going to be a chilled out stream once we explode about the refs, right? Because the boys need a chance to get it off their system. Then, of course, we've got to cover off Newcastle and many, many other things. I would say Crypto is right about Marilla. Terrible in the air, and move him to CDM or drop him. That is on our topic of agendas, Owen. I can promise you that. Same to you, Carol. I'm here tonight with a Plastic Man U fan. Say hi to Twist for me. All right, and before we kick off, thank you, Nikki. 5 months, beautiful guy he is as well, man. Love Nikki. Reading a crap team. Best part about our promotion year was Reading getting relegated. Do you know how many times Reading has screwed us over, especially where Forest felt like they were turning around corners and then we'd get Reading. I used to hate playing Reading. Anyway,
another team.
Anyway, let's move on and talk about the team that's causing us grief at the moment, and that's Bournemouth, man. I'm sick of them.
I thought you were going to say the refereeing team.
He's part of Bournemouth. If you look at their starting lineup, he's first on the team sheet.
He is. But let's get out of the way. Go on and kick us off. How do you think?
I mean, aside from not giving us a penalty that they should have done, aside from sending off Bolly, which was, I mean, I'm not a Robbie Savage fan, but I was listening to 606 today, and he says it's the worst decision he's ever seen in football. That shows you how. And you know what's annoying as well, right? The PGML, they have these rules and regs, and one of the most ridiculous things I've seen was the Liverpool-Tottenham game, where they knew that it was wrong, but they said, "Oh, we can't bring it back now because it's in the rules." Well, screw that. If you've got something wrong, then you've already done something wrong. So you may as well do something wrong again to make it right. And I can't believe that everybody in football says that second yellow should not have been given. But we can't appeal it. So on top of them making that decision and ruining the game, they're perpetuating it by now banning him for a game. How does that make sense? Why can't
he been banned?
Yeah, it's got 1 match ban, and they can't appeal it because it's the second yellow.
Oh,
yeah, they can't appeal it. Yeah, I thought you were talking about the ref as well.
I talked about Bolly.
Okay.
Well, you were talking about the ref, and then you jumped to Bolly.
Yeah, so, no, I'm moving about. I'm moving. Keep up.
All right, so you're talking about Bolly. Okay.
Yeah. So can somebody explain to me how when you've made a mistake, you can't put that mistake right just because in the rules it says you can't appeal it? That makes no sense to me. Why can't we look at it and say, yeah, that shouldn't have been given, so therefore we're going to take the ban away?
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense, does it? To say, no, it's still banned, even though it's wrong. We know it's wrong. It's still banned. That blows my mind. As for the referee, what I don't get is that the most they ever get is like a week in the championship. For a start, that's not enough of a punishment. Secondly, when we were in the championship, we'd have games that were bloody important. Why should we have a ref that they're saying is substandard? Or why should a championship team have a ref that has been told is substandard? No, what they should do, if anything, is ban him, suspend him from the game and make him go on a course to learn how to fucking referee. And then when they think he's good enough, then they can maybe give him another go. Not just send him to the championship for a week. That's not fair on anybody. And what it's done, it's made the game itself almost impossible to make any sort of judgments on, because the game was literally taken away from us on the 20-something minute. People have said in the chat about Murillo not being good in the air. I agree, he's not great in the air. I agree. But when you've got Bolly there next to you, you've got a bit of security. And the goals we conceded were, 2 of them, that I can remember, were in the air. And maybe if Bolly had been on the pitch, we wouldn't have conceded those goals. Yeah, so the implications 100%. Of what that guy did were massive. So yes, whilst I agree that he's not the best in the world in the air, I still think he's got enough about him, provided he's got somebody alongside him who is good in the air to make up for that deficit. You know, if you're marking in the box and Murillo's got to mark a tall striker that's good in the air, it's obviously that wouldn't happen normally. Normally it'd be Bolly that took that man, so you wouldn't see that deficiency so much. Anyway, that's enough to be getting on with.
Just before I come to your thoughts on it, Crypto, I'm going to address a couple of the questions in the chat. But before I do, Matt, thank you so much for coming on yesterday. Thank you so much for the 3 months, bro. Appreciate it. And Stoney has been a member since the day he was born, because it's been 14 months now. Yes, Stoney, appreciate it. There's some interesting questions being asked. So I think we just got to clarify a couple of things. Chris is saying we can appeal according to match of the day. So is there an echo on my mic? Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, you're fine.
That's fine.
Okay. So that's Gary. Remember who Gary Lineker supports? Leicester. Remember that Leicester always want to be relevant towards Forest, right? So that's the thing there. He's chatting crap. You can't appeal a double yellow sending off.
Because it's a yellow card. It's a yellow card in effect.
Exactly. So you can't appeal it. If he was given a straight red, we could have appealed it. If he was given a straight red on the pitch, it would have gone to VAR. All these things is why I'm saying corruption. Corruption.
It was even suggested by one of the pundits. They should have what they should have done to get out of the double yellow thing is they should have said they were looking at the Bournemouth player as a red card for the tackle, the ankle breaker that the Bournemouth player put in. Then they could have looked at it and said, oh, no, it's not. But also we can then, because I've looked at it, we can actually rescind that yellow. That's what they could have done. And somebody suggested, and I thought, yeah, because to be honest, yeah, you could look at that for a red. He went in over the top on his ankle. Yeah, why not? Just to get around it.
100% can't be appealed, and obviously watched the video today because I've already said that. You didn't watch it.
I know football, mate.
Yeah, I'm impressed that you didn't watch it, and also annoyed that you didn't watch it.
Okay.
Huh?
I did watch it.
So you just stole my line then?
No, I didn't, because I knew that already.
He still stole it.
I'm not allowed to say anything. I know that because you might have said it in the past.
I said it first, mate. I said it first. No, you can't. Right. This is the last yellow card question I'll take up. You cannot appeal a yellow card. In fact, the only thing that can be done with yellow cards, even including VAR, is if they look on the pitch to upgrade it from a yellow to a red, not downgrade it. Okay, you can go up, you can't go down. Yeah, it's a bit like erections. Anyway, let's. That makes no sense.
I feel like Chris Wood.
Bit like Chris Wood. Yeah, that's what I was thinking about. All right, Crypto, what's yours take on it? I mean, it's pretty obvious, isn't it?
Yeah, so from where we were sat, which was Lower Bridgeford, next to the Bournemouth fans, which was quite far away from where the challenge happened, it was obvious there that he got the ball. I mean, we started clapping that it was a good tackle. So for then him to get sent off, we were just kind of, we couldn't really understand it. And then the other one, which we were really close to, was the potential handball in the box. And again, the defender looked like he was about 2 foot inside the box. And then VAR said, we can't tell, so we're going to have to say that he was outside the box. And again, the people around me, they weren't necessarily angry. We were just thinking, like, how can this be? We were just lost for word, really, because they were both so clear that it was kind of unbelievable. So, yeah, it was an awful performance by the ref. Really, really bad. I agree with Ant about Murillo, and I know I've said it a few times before. So Bolly is definitely the best header for me defensively. Nia Carty is pretty good as well. That's why, and I got ripped apart for it, but that's why I said last stream or the stream before, play Murillo as almost like a CDM. So he's not actually focused on defending the ball, because we lose a lot of goals to crosses and set pieces. Or alternatively to that, if you play a 5-back, you can play in the middle and make those runs forward. But I completely agree with Ant. When Bolly goes off, it changes the dynamic of the team, because he's by far our best header of the ball defensively.
Just on the penalty thing, just before I do, just quickly, Nikki and Carol, I've made you mods just because there's no other mods in there, so deal with the rabble, keep them in check. Crypto, on the penalty, please can you explain why they didn't use the cameras from the Trent end to look directly at the line, which I could see with my perfect 2020 vision that he was definitely in the box.
Unbelievable. The amount of times we've had VAR decisions go against us where they've used 600 different angles. I mean, they could have come and asked me for an angle. I was filming most of it. You know, it was so obvious to see that to say we only have one angle so we can't confirm is not good enough. I mean, this is the Premier League at the end of the day. If you're going to have VAR, then you need to make sure it's a proper system. The excuse of, we only have one camera angle is pretty poor to me. I mean, that shouldn't be happening. You know, there's something like this it could literally, I don't want to say the word, but it could relegate you. You know, the difference between 3 points, 0 points. At the end of the season, a decision like that could cost lots of people a lot of money, multiple millions of pounds, and also ruin a fan base's hopes and dreams and get a team relegated. So to say that we can't confirm it because we only have one angle is appalling, really. It's not good enough.
Yeah, I want to look. I was talking to our mate Chris earlier from Forest All Over podcast, and bless him, he's feeling a little down. And usually I'm the down one and he's the upbeat, happy clapper. I feel like the roles have reversed. Shout out to Chris. Make sure you're listening to their podcast. It's fantastic. Yeah. He argues more than Ant does. But I've said to him, I saw so many things yesterday that made me feel positive, made me feel happy clappy, and made me feel, and clip this, we're going to beat Newcastle and we're going to beat Man U. That's how much I saw in that game yesterday, right? Let me just kick Ez off because I'm getting a little echo off in the fuck off Ez. Merry Christmas. But I want to talk about a few things because I want this to be positive, right? And that change at halftime blew my mind. It's been a long time since I've seen a manager in our dugout make a positive substitution when we're down to 10 men and we weren't even losing the game. And taking off Mangala and bringing on Callum Hudson-Odoi and putting Morgan Gibbs-White slightly deeper, I thought it was just sheer genius, man. I mean, you could argue he fell on his sword because we lost. But what did you think of that substitution, Anne? And chat, what did you think of it?
I was surprised, and like you, it was like, oh, that was the kind of reaction. Okay, let's see. I mean, I was a little disappointed Mangala going off because I think Mangala's been probably our best, if not one of our best players this season. Very consistent he's been, I think. So I was kind of disappointed he went off. Personally, I'd have taken somebody else off.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. But yeah, it was a positive sign, wasn't it? And I feel, I mean, I was surprised we paid a back four. I didn't like, I know you liked the team when it came. I didn't like the team when I saw it. I didn't like it.
What didn't you like?
I didn't like the shape. I didn't like the personnel. The team I put up the other day is the team I would have picked. Obviously, that's why I did it.
You're just arrogant, mate. You just got to swallow your pride a bit.
No. Had he played that team, we would have won comfortably. But it's his first game. He's got to know. He doesn't know the players as well as me, obviously. So give the guy a chance. I'm not going to criticize him for it. And it was, I think, intended to be a counter-attacking side, not a low block side. That is the difference that people seem to have a problem with. They don't seem to understand the difference between the two, and there's a huge difference between the two. And but the honest problem is, I find it really difficult to look at that game and judge it, or because of the sending off. It's not just the fact we're down to 10 men. It was the player they sent off. It makes such a difference to our defense in those circumstances, and it just upset everything. So it's very difficult for me to make a proper judgment on how well we played, because we were 10 men without our best heading defender. So it's a difficult one for me to judge. You know what I mean? When I came out, I felt that we were rubbish. But that's the immediate, aftermath of just having a last-second goal scored against you. And I met John, Bournemouth John, off Beat the Drop before and after the game, and he was kind of more positive about Forest than I was, if I'm honest. Obviously he's looking at it through a different lens. And yeah, I mean, the disappointment were the goals, obviously, but I thought it was okay. As I say, I know I'm blabbering. It's because I really find it difficult to judge that game, because of what happened.
Yeah.
Let's face it, it would have been a totally different game if Bolly hadn't been sent off. I think we'd all agree that it would have been a different game. So how can you judge the game we actually saw?
If I'm being honest,
apart from Chris Wood, by the way, Matt D, the guy that was sitting next to me, one of the first things he said to me, "Oh, I picked your team, man." So although I nearly changed my mind when I saw Wood in it. That's all I'll say.
Look, I forgot what I was going to say now, you dickhead.
Sorry, man.
I was going to say something to crypto. I don't know.
I'll say something. What do you reckon to Wood then, crypto?
You know what? I think credit where credit's due. Chris Wood had a great game yesterday. My question is, why? Was it because he thinks he's got a chance at impressing the new manager? Was it because Nuno let him play in a better style? Did the formation suit him? He genuinely looked good. If he can be consistent like that, then props to him. He'd make a decent backup striker. I'm not gonna. He's obviously not better than Awani in my eyes, but. He stepped up yesterday. And to be fair, I thought Origi was doing okay until he had to get subbed off. I felt a bit bad for Origi because he's hardly had any game time, really. He comes on for 15, 20 minutes, but he's never really had a proper game. So, I mean, Chris Wood was good yesterday. So, respects to him. I think the main positives yesterday probably were the attack. I've just changed into Ez. the main positives yesterday were the attack for me. I mean, within the first 5 minutes, I think we'd had 2 or 3 shots on goal. Chris Wood had a shot. I think Alanga had a shot. Obviously, Alanga scored a decent goal too. For me, the man of the match was probably actually Morgan Gibbs-White. I thought he played really good in the hole in the 10. So, yeah, for me, the positives were mainly the attack. And again, that's props to not just the team, but to Nuno for allowing us to play in a more attacking formation. The one thing I liked as well is that, you know, we went and got a second goal. I know, obviously, we ended up losing the match, but it was definitely a better performance overall.
I just think, look, on Chris Wood, I praised him. I praised him wholeheartedly because I did say to you guys all last week, he will fit in the Nuno style. To be honest, to big up FFTV a little, I think a lot of the series we did on Nuno, there was signs of everything in that yesterday. Morgan Gibbs-White dropping into the 8, Chris Wood playing as that back-to-goal kind of striker, looking for the width, etc. We got more of breakdown stuff coming up over the next week or two about Nuno that'll give you more and more an idea of him. But I think, how can I say this? I still won't be convinced about Chris Wood until he does it in a run of games. Because we've seen fast ones before from him. Yeah. He got pumped up for this game. Fair play to him. Got the goal. I still think the assist was better. Yeah. I thought that was better. His work rate for the assist was fantastic.
And he won the ball. He won the ball.
Even
tackled defender, won the ball, went forward and laid it off. Perfect.
And let's not forget the bit that made my jaw drop was when he nutmegged the Bournemouth defender in the first half.
Yeah.
And he looked fast. And I was like, okay.
I did say when people were coming for me in the chat when I put my team with him, I had Wood there. I did say, give him a chance in a Nuno system. You've seen him with a low block system, isolated. Let's see him where he's got a bit of support, you know, and let's see if he could do something. And he played better.
He's got to stay consistent, though, hasn't he? Yeah, yes, 100%. He was good yesterday. I respect him for that. I just hope that it's not like a one-off where, you know, I've given this example before, but when we brought in all the defenders and Worrell and Yates had a really good match because they're obviously trying to play for their position. Yeah. I just hope he wasn't trying to play for his position because he knows it's a new manager, etc. If he plays like that every game, then fair play to him.
The big talking point, and a few in the chat is saying Richie's saying we've been linked to Sarr, the Wolves goalkeeper. I blamed, well, Ez, are you there for a start?
Yeah, test me out. How bad is the connection? Is it all right?
Sounds all right.
6 seconds.
Really bad. 6 seconds. Oh my God. That's awful. Fucking that's awful. Okay.
We'll say hi to Ez in the chat.
Yeah, I'm here.
6 seconds. Ez,
I'll say hi now, just in anticipation.
Oh, good timing. Good timing. But I want to talk about Turner, Ez. Ez, what are your thoughts about Turner yesterday? I blame him for 2 of the goals. I'm sorry. I've watched them back and he's not good enough, right? And also, his distribution is so slow that Ez's connection looks quick next to his distribution, right? Why does he have to take 15, 20 seconds to move the ball and then he just ends up punting it and half the time it goes out of play, right? I've written Turner. I've got a cross next to Turner's name now.
Yeah,
right?
I'm not happy about either goalkeeper.
I haven't said over yet. Vlachodimos, I've got a question mark next to, right? So I'd be prepared to put Vlachodimos in. But Ez, what do we do with this goalkeeper situation over?
I think we got to address it. We definitely have to address it. I'm not confident with either goalkeeper. I'm just going to keep talking. You can keep pointing. I'm going to keep talking. I'm not happy with either goalkeeper. And you're right. Everything you've just said about Turner is what I'm feeling about him. He doesn't fill me with any sort of confidence whatsoever. If you have to, I'd give Vlachodimos another chance. I can't say all the goals that he conceded in that run of games that he had. I can't blame him for any of them. But at the same time, I can't think of any saves that he made in those games either that made me think that, okay, he's worth giving a run to. I think we do need a goalkeeper. Jose Sarr sounds fantastic as an option. But something we have to address, because the distribution point of view, I agree, mate. How long is he taking to do what? To punt it long, and then one ball that we seem to go for all the time is out to our right wing back position. So it used to be to Ori, now it seems to be to what's his name, Nico. Which, to be fair, he's won a couple of headers. Nobody wins the second ball. So what's no point in him winning that header? I've never seen it go to anybody else. So that tactic we've been employing pretty much all season. I don't see it having worked at any stage. But that seems to be his only option when he's distributing it long. And amount of times he's kicked it out of play as well. So goalkeeper-wise, honestly, they have to address it. I don't think it was on the menu, but I think they have to address it. Neither of them are a number one goalkeeper. I think they're both number twos. In both senses of the word, but yeah, address that in the January window as a priority. I think, I don't know if any of you other guys agree that it's a priority, but we've all said we need a forward, we need a striker, which I still agree. I am a little less worried now with AFCON. We're losing the 1 year anyway. Taiwo's not going to be there, but I'm a little less worried now, because I've seen something in Chris Wood that he's bought out after 2 or 3 training sessions. Give him a bit more time. By the time we get to the Newcastle game, Nuno wouldn't have even had a full week's training with the guys, with Christmas thrown into the middle of it. So it's way too early to judge. But there were definitely signs yesterday, and I'm not going to try and draw comparisons, but under a certain manager, I don't think going in 0-0 at half time with 10 men, we'd be bringing on an attacking sub. So I think it was positive yesterday. Obviously, the result was gutting, but I saw so many options that he's brought to the table now, and that's after 2 training sessions. So yeah, the future is bright. Over
and out, mate. Crypto. The chat is saying a lot of them. Some are saying Turner was at fault. Some are saying he couldn't save it. They were world-class headers. Yeah. Where did you sit? Because from your end, did they go in your end or the Trent end?
Yeah, some of them did. Yeah. In fact, not all of them. All of them went in our end. Yeah. So for me, it looks like a pretty simple mistake in the fact that he was stood too far off his line. If he'd just been stood a yard back or a foot back, he would have been able to get his hand to it. I probably don't blame them for all of them, maybe just one. But the thing that really annoyed me yesterday was his kicking. He kicked the ball out of play 2 or 3 times. And what his kicks do is, so I was immediately behind him. So what they do is they go up, high and right. But he starts the kick from the right-hand side of the penalty box. So if they go too far right, they just go out. And all that can do when they stay in is people head it back into midfield and usually lose the ball. So the kicking really needs to be worked on. I mean, it's almost got to the point where it's similar to when Morgan Gibbs-White was struggling on corners. We need like a goal kicking coach. You know, it was a pretty poor performance. Don't forget, we have got a world-class keeper on the bench called Nuno Espirito Santo. So he could always come on if needs be. But yeah, we do also have Horvath. Was it Horvath who was good in pre-season?
Shelby.
Shelby, sorry, yeah, Shelby. So you know, there's options there, and like you say, we could bring in a new keeper. We do still need a new striker though, because if he's going to carry on the same formation as yesterday, then he was almost playing a 2-striker formation anyway. So we need a backup striker regardless, even if Wood and Origi kind of took off and had a few good games. We still need a backup striker because he obviously wants to play attacking football, which is great. And as referenced, making the change to bring on Callum Hudson-Odoi at half-time was a positive step forward.
Yeah. And I don't know if you want to say on the keeper, but I got a question about the defenders in a second.
Very quickly on the keepers, I've said before that we've probably been a bit unfair on Vlachodimos. You know, we've not really seen enough of him.
Yeah, I like that.
People keep saying he's not made a mistake, but he's not saved anything either. And that's kind of I agree with that, but it's kind of weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
Out of the three, I would pick that. I don't think Turner should play for us again. He's not. I'm sorry, he's just not. You know, it's not just his the goals he lets in. It's his kicking. It's his coming out for the ball. He's hesitant. When the ball does go back to him, he doesn't know what to do with it. It's like a deer in the headlights. He's not a Premier League goalkeeper. And I think Crypto just said, you know, get a goal, or it might have been get a goalkeeping coach to help with his kicking. The guy's not a kid. You know, he's been around long enough. If he can't kick it now, he ain't going to ever kick it. So I think we need to let Turner go for sure. Nuno was obviously a goalkeeper, so you'd assume he's fairly good at judging goalkeepers. I was surprised that Turner was in. Really, in fact, shocked when Turner was in, because I thought he must have seen his last few games and surely he's going to give the other guy a chance. We don't know what's happening in training, obviously. And I would be disappointed now if we didn't go for a goalkeeper in the window. We've got to get a better goalkeeper. You can't pin your hopes on it. I say I'm perhaps being a bit unfair on Vlachodimos because we've not seen enough of him. I'm prepared to give him now until, you know, middle of January to see if he can, you know, convince us that he's a number one goalkeeper. I don't even think Turner's good enough for number two, though. That's the thing. It's that bad. And I was quite pro when he came because I'd seen him a few times before, and it was okay. You know, he was okay. But having seen him now in the Premier League, just no. I mean, and it's such an important position as well. Especially in the modern day game where they have to, you know, a lot of attacks start from the defense. You play out of defense a lot more now. You need a goalkeeper that can at least do a simple pass and not get flustered, you know, and that's not Matt Turner, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm not saying he had a stinker yesterday. I'm saying it's debatable whether or not he could have saved it. Me and Twist always say, if a keeper gets a hand to the ball, he should save it. Is kind of mine and Twist rule on that one.
I always say, yeah.
But as that's just been mentioned here, this is the question I want to ask you. And let me just find it. I've freaking lost it. Someone just said the defense. I think it was Matt D, actually. Yeah, it was. Black's been let down by a defense that's got more holes in it than a sieve. Just before I ask you the question, Red Dog saying you lot change your tune here constantly. Of course we do, because we change it based on the evidence.
Based on the game,
front. If you didn't change your mind, then that would be a bit weird. But anyway, I want to talk about the defense, right? Because Murillo's header was appalling for the second goal. He just headed it upwards and not really outwards. I think Niakate needs to be scrutinized a little because he left too much space for me on that third goal. Our backline doesn't come out and press the players when the cross comes in. You always seem to find that their attacker gets in between it, and Niakate tends to be a problem for me in that. And I just think this is a problem we've had all season, and where crosses have killed us, man. You could argue it's 3 crosses yesterday, and it's something I expect Nuno to address quickly, but it's plagued us all season. Now, the question
again, I'm sorry to be so repetitive, but again, I go back to Bolly being sent off. That performance yesterday would not have been the same had Bolly been there, because he's a dominant centre half that heads the ball really well. Felipe the same. We had both in my opinion, our best 2 defenders for heading the ball out are Bolly and Felipe, and neither of them were in the side, and that makes a difference. I mean, take Van Dijk out of Liverpool's defence, and you see the difference.
Yeah, but Bolly was on the pitch when the ball was crossed in against Spurs, and
he can't be everywhere, can he? Yeah, you could always pick. I mean, you know, even Liverpool let goals in. You know what I mean?
You know, but my point is, it's a systemic problem now, isn't it? The crossing
it's up to you to sort it out, mate. But I think we will sort it out. I tell you what, the biggest thing would be. Sorry, you go on, and I'll shut up.
I just want to ask you the actual question, right? Are the defense good enough, or is it the what's the word? The training and the tactics being done with them? Because it's happening too many times. I'm not putting it on Nuno. He's been in 2 minutes, but where's the issue here? Is it the players?
Now, in my opinion, out there, people, don't shoot me. In my opinion, it's not the players. I think the players are good players. You know, if you look at those players individually, Niakate is a good defender. Felipe's a good defender. Bolly's a good defender. Murillo's a good defender. You know, they're all good defenders. They've been wrongly coached. Sorry, people, you know, they've been wrongly coached. They've been playing in a crappy 5 at the back, low block. Nobody knows what we're doing. Just like, oh, let's just pack it. Let's just pack as many players as we can behind the ball. And then, you know, hopefully we won't let a goal in. Now we've got a manager that I believe is able to organise a defence properly. He'll pick the right players. He'll put them in the right positions and he'll coach them to play in that way. Not just all stand behind the ball and hope it doesn't go in. So that's my belief. Obviously, yesterday is totally immaterial for reasons we've said. So going forward, let's see if we've got a bit more structure in the defence. And also, something that Nuno really likes is a settled defence. We've not had a settled defence at all. It's been chopped that many times in both personnel and the style of play, if you can call it style of play, that many times. We all know that in football, it's combinations. You know, you get strikers and wingers that play well together. You get midfielders that get used to each other, so they know where that player wants the ball and they'll put it there for him. Even more so in defence, you've got to know what your guy's going to do. Otherwise, it causes hesitancy. And when you're chopping and changing all the time, you don't build up those relationships, do you? So I think once we get a settled back 3, back 5, back 4, whatever it may be, I think we'll improve a lot because they'll be drilled and they'll know where to go and where their mate's going to be and when they have to move forward and when they have to let the other guy. So that's my belief. So I'm not panicking yet. I think we've got the players.
I get what you're saying, but I think it's getting to the stage where we do need to question maybe some of those players' ability. Crypto, I'm going to ask you about Murillo just before I do the legend. That is the lovely Simon F with the £5. Thank you so much, bro. We're not getting relegated. More confident than I was before. £5 for Crypto. Never saying the word Horvath. And
sorry, Simon. wrong keeper.
Crypto. Let's talk about Murillo. We have all, not just on here, I would say a lot of the fan base have really hyped up Murillo. I think we saw a run against Palace and then we all got giddy because we saw one of our players actually take a team on and do it successfully. But when we break it down as a defender in the raw format of it, is he still too young to be chucked straight in for this long? Should we be playing him as you've had a few games experience, take him out the limelight, bring him back in, etc.? Or do you think, as Ant is saying, leave him in and get a settled formation? Or are you going to go for option C and say chuck him in midfield?
So I think that the advantages of Murillo is that the best thing that he does is tackle. Now, arguably, as I said at the start of the stream, if you want someone who's going to stop the attackers from coming onto you, you either play them in a central 3, which would then mean you have to play 5 back, which is not really my preferred formation, or you could play them in a CDM, which is not his natural position. The thing that I think he lacks on is heading the ball away. He is also shorter than our other defenders. I know he's not really short. I think he's about 5'11", 6 foot, but Niakate and Bolly are pushing, 6'4". So there's a big difference when it comes to heading the ball out the box. And at the moment, we're struggling with balls into the box, with set pieces, etc. That I think we've got to prioritize. So yeah, potentially you could drop him for a game, and I mean, that would be quite interesting to drop Murillo and see how Bolly and Niakate or Bolly and Felipe perform as a duo, because we haven't really seen that for a while. I mean, if you look at last season with Niakate and Felipe, they were pretty solid at the back. So it's a different tactical setup. So it'd be interesting to see what Nuno does. I think one thing we have got to say about yesterday's game, and not everyone will like it because you could argue that's what the defense should stop, but Solanke yesterday was properly on fire. I mean, his vision to get to the ball is kind of second to none. It's not very often that we're going to come up against teams who have a striker who's in that good a form. And yes, obviously the defense is there to try and stop that. But watching him yesterday, as I said, a few seats away from the goal, he was properly good yesterday. So yeah, it is tough to stop an attack like that. But yeah, for me, I would either drop him for a game and see how Bolly and Felipe perform, or potentially move him into midfield. But I know a lot of people don't like that idea.
And you're shaking your head at it. Are you saying Murillo stays in defense? You don't like the CDM thing, yeah? But are you saying he stays in defense, or should he be rested?
What I'm saying is that Murillo's in his entire career played 13 times for Corinthians, and he's played 12 times in the hardest league in the world for Forest. That's his entire career. What are you expecting of him? Right? That's
I'm
the
not
first.
saying
No,
that.
I'm not getting at you. No, I'm just saying. I'm just laying that out.
Yeah.
Let's give the guy a chance to breathe. I have no problems with him coming out of the team. No, none at all. Right? You know, if we've got Niakate, Felipe, and Bolly, brilliant. Not an issue. The CDM thing, the only reason I shake my head and say no on that is because the guy is played those few games in what is supposed to be his natural position. Give him a chance. You know, you started to now put the responsibility of a CDM in him. The responsibility of CDM is far more than a centre back. I think
he'd love that though, because he loves running.
I don't care what he loves. The first thing, I don't care what he loves. He plays for us. We pay his wages. He does what he's told. Right? I don't care what he loves. Okay, I'm sure that I'm sure that Warren would like to play centre forward. I don't care. Yeah. So
I think Warren
maybe in training they can try him out, see if he can do the job. But it's a totally different job to being a central defender. Totally different job. Do you know what I mean? It's like the difference between a winger and a centre forward. They're different things. So I wouldn't be in a rush to stick him into our centre of midfield in the Premier League right now. I mean, played 12 games for us. But I have no objection. I understand people being a bit concerned about him. But what I was saying was maybe if he was in the centre of an established three, maybe you'd see him be a bit more calm. Because he's a brilliant tackler. He's a brilliant passer. He's a brilliant carrier of the ball. You know, the only thing that we're saying is his heading's not up to scratch. And I can't really disagree with that from what I've seen. But like I say,
and you know,
the right people around him, and it makes a difference, you know.
And you just described there a perfect CDM.
It sounded like it. Didn't it?
You know, in the last few minutes of the match,
we've got a guy called Sangare, you know, who's supposed to be a fairly decent CDM. Do you know what I mean? You're going to drop him and put let's be real.
What are you saying?
I was going to say, in the last few minutes of the match yesterday, it was Murillo again who was running from the back line forward through the middle of the pitch, making passes, running around people. And I don't know, the crowd love it. And I know that doesn't mean anything. You know, the crowd don't choose the formation, but you can kind of see it. It looks to me like he could, you know, do well in that position.
Look, this is an interesting, because I was just thinking in my head here, who has played these two roles? And I was saying that Arsenal put Rice in defense a few weeks ago. I remember that Liverpool used to put Fabinho, I think in the COVID season, wasn't it, in defense when they had Virgil out and the rest out. I can't think of many that have gone the other way around from defense into midfield. I don't know if chat, can you come up with any names? You could, and I know Trent Alexander has done it as a fullback inverted into midfield, but I'm talking about centre backs. Can anyone think? Because I think it's doable to go from a CDM to a defender, but to defend Ant here, can anyone think of, okay, there we go, Lucky Robot straight in with a name. Laurent Blanc, yes, he did do it.
One of the world's greatest players, by the way.
Yeah.
Like Murillo.
Is there any that you can think of? And it's okay.
There's a reason why what you've just said, that you see forwards going into central defence. You see, you know, Gary Birtles being one, obviously. You see central midfielders going into defence. And there's a reason why you see that, but you don't very often see it the other way. This is what I'm saying. It's a different position. Beckenbauer, no, he was
Stones has done it. But Pep kind of plays it slightly different, doesn't? I mean, to be honest, I think Dino could play in Man City's midfield and look good with all the other players around him. But Stones is a fair shout.
Yeah, but sorry. Let me just. But Stones doesn't start in midfield. He starts as a central defender and goes into midfield. That's the difference.
Okay, everyone's giving world class names.
What about Shevchenko? He does the same, doesn't he? not Shevchenko. What do I mean? Zinchenko. He does the same. He starts as a left back and then goes into midfield.
Here comes the Arsenal reference. Here comes the Arsenal.
Fuck off. I didn't even mention Arsenal. I said Zinchenko.
You just did there. You just did there. Chuck said, I'm not waking up my daughter for presents so that I can watch FFTV. Well, it is Christmas Day for you now, isn't it, Chucker? So we won't keep you too long, I promise. Okay. Rodri's a midfielder, isn't he? Did he start?
Yeah, Rodri's a midfielder. CDM.
Rodri's a midfielder.
CDM.
I'm talking the other way around, chat. From centre backs to it. Don't give me the world class names. Everyone knows of Beckenbauer and probably remembers Beckenbauer. But
Beckenbauer wasn't a central defender. He was a sweeper. He was a libero. He wasn't a central defender.
Okay. Give another example. Let's say you play a 5-back and you don't have a CDM. What about that? Not saying I would do that. Just giving an alternative solution. So Murillo, if he wanted to, could break through the midfield.
Can't we just improve Murillo as a central defender? Can't we just do that?
Yeah.
But
I think we're overcomplicating this, boys. If I'm being honest,
I think we are.
I think it's a case of why are we trying to round off square pegs, etc.
But we can't grow Murillo by 4 inches. He's never going to be the best at defensive headers.
So maybe we sell him now while Jamie Redknapp's hyped.
So what?
60
so
million.
what?
A lot of our goals that we're conceding are balls into the box or set pieces, and that is Murillo's weakness, and we've seen it a lot of times.
No.
So okay, let's move on. Basically, Crypto saying put him CDM and saying either drop him or develop him,
or drop him for 1 match to see.
Yeah, that's the summary in a nutshell. Yeah, a lot in the chat is saying Omar Bamadeli. I like Omar Bamadeli, but I think we would have the same Murillo issue if we just chucked him straight in, especially into a team that's 1 in 14, as in 1 win in 14. I think it's too risky to put him in there.
Omar Bamadeli, I think, is 6'3", 6'4" as well, though.
He's 6'3", yeah. The other thing is, let's not forget, I think Simon F mentioned it earlier on. Maybe now this is clearer why we've bought Nino to come in. Because he could come in that space. Because it didn't make sense to me when we got 6 million centre backs that we suddenly bring Nino into the fold of it. It kind of reads to me that Worrell's gone, McKenna's gone. Maybe Bolly's, I can't remember how long Bolly's got left on his contract. I don't think it's that long left. Kiate's going, etc., etc. So anyway, let's move off from the defense. And let's talk about a bit about Newcastle, because I've said
Nico shout out before if we're going to move on. I'd just like to shout Nico Williams. I think he's been really good this last couple of games.
Really good, Nico Williams.
I think they targeted him, to be honest.
He did well though. He did well.
Targeted him.
Kept the ball, made some good tackles. He's really good at turning his back on attackers and just holding the ball and not losing it, which is quite important. If
some of the crosses he put in yesterday.
Yeah, it's good. He stepped up a lot.
Attacking wise, I'm convinced on him. Defensively, still not so. You could argue he should have done better on the first goal, instead of clearing.
He's a wing back. You don't expect them to be able to defend.
But this is my point. They targeted Nico Williams. There's so many crossfield balls going from right to left.
But the problem is that Nino didn't play my fucking formation. If you'd have had 3 at the back like I told him to, with Nico on the right, it wouldn't have been an issue, because Bolly, or mind you, it would have been an issue because we got Bolly sent off. But imagine we didn't. Then the right-sided centre-back covers that. Not an issue.
All right, let's move on. I still think we may see some tweaks. And this is what I want to talk about. Now, I said to Chris that I told him to clip me, that we will beat Newcastle and we will beat Manchester United. I'm so convinced off the back of what I saw yesterday. If Nuno got that much of a tune out of 10 men with us scoring 2 goals, you know, unlucky, poor defending, whatever, call it what you want. What's he going to do with 11 men against the Newcastle team who've got 10 injuries and are chucking a bunch of kids on? Unfortunately, Bruno Guimaraes' hamstring held up, so he's not injured. I would have loved him to have been out. I don't care how horrible that sounds. But I am quietly confident that these are the games where Nuno is going to do the Nuno ting, man. And I don't know why. I'm not basing this on logic. Maybe it's because I've recently converted back into being a happy clapper, and I'm still not quite used to those, positive emotions. And maybe I've got to figure out how to table them a little. I've just got a feeling, right? And Chris is like, "Shut up, man." It's like, what are you talking about? We ain't good. We can't defend. Am I alone in this feeling? Or did I read too much into the game, Crypto?
I mean, yeah, it was a massive improvement. He hasn't. The thing is, it's a tough for him because he's only going to have what 2, 3, maybe 4 training sessions before the Newcastle match. But already it's massive improvements. Like you said, I think he needs to find a settled team, and that may not come by the Newcastle match. But once he's got that settled team, he will. I think he'll do really well. And I felt like yesterday the players had the belief in his system. To see people like Morgan Gibbs-White give the performance like they did yesterday shows me that they were happy playing under his style of football, which I personally think we've missed with the previous manager. So whether we'll beat Newcastle or not, I don't know. But I am also starting to feel like we kind of need to beat Newcastle, because if Luton win, then we're in the relegation zone. When do Luton play? Is it Boxing Day? Is it? Well, I mean, if they win, we're literally in the relegation zone. So we need to get 3 points out of that match. So that I'm sure the players will be properly up for it. But yeah, it's a tough one.
United, they've got a free win basically.
I've just looked at that.
Yeah, they got Sheffield United. That's what I mean. And Luton are an informed team at the moment. Sheffield United, one of the worst teams on the planet. I'm surprised they're not in League Two. There he is, the man himself, who's always on Twitter. Yeah, look, it must be so tough for Nuno because he's got a few training sessions, got a whole new team. I don't want to go back to the keeper, but I just want to say one thing, and I don't want to call anyone out because they're my boy, but I would have thought that a coach may have said to Nuno, "Don't start Turner; he's not in good form. Start Vlack." And there's only a few coaches who have been kept on, so if you're watching this, don't come and kick my front door in, but maybe you should have given some better advice to Nuno.
Maybe you should go upstairs and just have a quiet word with him.
Yeah, I might have to.
I think you do need to, man. Tell him that.
Seriously, so you would have thought that one of the people who had been kept on would have said, Jimmy's still not over us trolling his live stream the other day.
Anyway, and what are you feeling on this Newcastle? I know it's early days, but do you feel we do need to now get something out of it? Because that would be 1 in 15 if we lose, and then Jimmy will really have some ammunition against us. And Sheffield
not until he's at least equaled Derby's record, he hasn't.
But what's your thoughts ahead of the Newcastle one? Oh, before you give your thoughts, sorry, I keep forgetting to say it, right? Chat, don't embarrass us in front of a Sheffield fan, right? There's 300 of you in here and 66 likes, and so stop embarrassing us in front of this guy, right?
Carol and Nikki, you know what to do. Do what I did last stream.
So hit that like button. Tried really hard to like Jimmy, says Simon. Oh, Jimmy's the bad guy. Jimmy the kid, Billy the kid in the chat. All right, and thoughts ahead of Newcastle.
Well, first of all, I'd like to say I was really pleased. I actually enjoyed watching Morgan Gibbs-White on Saturday.
Yeah.
That's the best I can recall him seeing play for quite some time. He looked really, worthwhile, and he did one of his not Cruyff turns. What are they? Anyway, he did one of his Cruyff turn type things that worked in the middle of the field. And I said to the guy, said, that's where he should be doing it, in the middle of the field when we're on it, not, stupid places all over the place.
I said the polar opposite because he got lucky to have got fouled there.
No. There must have been another one.
The twist, and
There
then he
must have been
turned back
another
on
one.
himself.
Oh,
And
okay.
He took the ball away. Yeah.
That's
And
a
I
lot
thought-
of praise as well coming from Ant, who hates Morgan Gibbs.
It is. Trust me, it is. It is. Well, when it
Wait,
works,
Nick, have you
when
blocked him?
when it's in a safe position and it works, I got no problem. You know what I mean? It's like somebody that's always shooting. If they score, you got no problem. If they keep shooting and missing, you start to get fed up, don't you?
And the corners were better. Let's say that as well.
That's another thing, right? You know the goal we scored from, the corner we scored from. I said to the lads with me, well, I didn't say it to them. I pointed at the bloke who was standing on the edge of the 6-yard box on the front post. And I said, Morgan, that's the one. Look, hit him in the face. Like, go on, he's the one you're going to hit. And of course, it went straight over goal. And they all giggled at me. Yeah. So is that somebody said, and it actually made a lot of sense when I thought about it. Maybe under Steve Cooper, he was told to always put it to the near post because he always did.
I don't know.
So anyway, it was definitely better all round.
It was.
As for Newcastle, first thing is I want Wolverine, seeing he's got this feeling, he's confident, all that. Well, I want to see if that comes to fruition on the Predictor League. Let's see if he puts Forest down for a win on that. Okay, it's all right giving it that. Let's see when the points matter.
What did you think to Alanga?
I'm still mixed with Alanga.
Mixed. I went to buy a shirt today, but they don't have any letter ends, so I came home with a blank shirt.
I thought you said Worrell.
You said they didn't have M for mother.
No,
I think he said N for nudist.
Yeah, I wanted an Alanga shirt, but
embarrassing.
Well, you've got your physique's pretty similar to his actually. From behind, you look pretty similar.
One insult. One insult to Alanga. Alanga's probably not a 6'3", 22 stone, fat, balding bloke, but
but he wishes he was. He wishes he was, mate.
Yeah. Look good in my leathers when I'm on my motorbike.
We don't want to know about you and your leathers. We'll leave that for members only.
Yeah, Carol, I don't know. I don't know what the breakdown will be for this.
I'm not as confident as
why?
Wolverine is about.
Why?
Because we've only won 2 away games in a season and a half. That's why.
Not under Nuno. Nuno's undefeated.
Not under Nuno. I'm more confident than I would have been. And they have got a lot of injuries, and they have just lost to Luton, but they're at home, and we've been not very good away from home.
I guess you could put it this way: we probably won't have a better chance than this to beat Newcastle.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm not writing us off. I'm not writing us off. But I think that certainly stand more chance than the likes of Sheffield United. I think they lost 8-0 to Newcastle, so no wonder he's a bit worried about Newcastle. You can see a bit of PTSD kicks in. You know how it goes. We certainly won't be losing 8-0.
But they've had so many heavy defeats that it's hard to sometimes you can be forgiven for forgetting.
I remember watching that match on Comedy Central. It was so funny.
Whoops! Another one's gone in. Whoops! So yeah,
back to Newcastle.
I'm not overly confident, but I always hope, and I think we've got a chance. But the problem is, like I say, we can't judge on the match just gone because of the circumstances. we can't. That's just giving me a nightmare.
You know what I thought as well when Nathan said that? I was like, remember when Alanga whipped his shirt off and then took his bra off, man? Imagine Crypto taking his bra.
You should have seen me, and you saw me in my Wani shirt just there. Well, it's skin tight.
Yeah, I know.
Andy Reid was like,
I've not got over it yet, mate. Yeah, so it's difficult to judge what we're going to do. We don't know what the side's going to be. We don't know what the formation's going to be. We don't know what players Newcastle have got available, what kind of mood they're going to be in. I'm sorry, but I'm just being realistic. It's really difficult to judge this one. I know you're going on like feeling, but I'm trying to look at it from a footballing sense, and it's virtually impossible to predict, isn't it?
It's not. We're going to win 3-1.
We'll definitely beat Man United, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, Man United are crap.
This is true. This is true.
No,
the thing I'm looking forward to the most which is an amazing thing to say considering where we've been, is the team sheet and the formation when we play Newcastle. That's I actually look forward to it now to see what we're going to do rather than knowing what we're going to do and failing at it.
It's exciting.
I'm actually looking forward to seeing what ideas he's got and whether we can actually put them into, into practice.
I think Nuno has refreshed the. I think Nuno's like refreshed the fan base. It's exciting again. I'm looking forward to the matches.
Listen. Let me play you out my vision, right? My vision. Okay. I already know the team sheet for Newcastle. I'm going to save it for tomorrow's video on the preview, so you'll have to tune in for that to watch it, right? But what I will tell you is, after seeing what Nuno's done, I'm in Nuno's head now. Me and him had a chat earlier. We're on the same level, and I like what he's going to do against Newcastle. Okay, and I am telling you, we are going to win 3-1. Okay, I'll guarantee it. That will be the scoreline. I might even go as bold as to predict the goal scorers, but we won't do that just yet. And then we will beat Man U. We will beat them 1-0. And I will stick it so far up Twister's arse, man. Oh my, do you know how long I'm waiting for this victory over Manchester United? Then we're going to draw with Brentford. We'll smash Blackpool, right? And then we will draw with Arsenal, maybe even beat them. And then we won't even be good then until we get to March the 16th, where everything has bedded in. And then that's when we've got a nice little run. We got Luton, Fulham, Wolves. Unfortunately, we don't have Sheffield, but we'll save that for the end of the season when we get to relegate them officially. To be honest, they'll probably be relegated before we get to do it. That'll be the icing on the cake. But I am telling you, I know I'm going on crumbs here from yesterday, but there was so much good in there. And it's the positive mentality that Nuno has that I love. I love how he called out the defense yesterday. Said football is a game of contact. Yeah. If he's saying that to us in front of the cameras, he's giving them the riot act behind the scenes. And that's exactly what they need. Callum, I've been smoking nothing, man. Nothing. This is all coming from pure, objective, happy clapper thinking, right? I am telling you, you can all clip this. You can all clip this. I've got it planned out. Yeah. Nuno is the man for now. Right? And I'm telling you, we're going to surprise a lot of people. We are going to surprise a lot of people because everyone has to
most of all is.
Yeah, everyone comes to an end. And this bad run we're on will come to an end. And I will use Bournemouth as the template. Now, Nuno is a better manager than Areola, right? 100%. It took Areola 9 games to start to get his identity showing and all this crap for Bournemouth. Nuno started to show us an identity within 1 game, okay? It is going to happen. It is going to happen, and it will start on Tuesday, whenever Boxing Day is. I guarantee you that defense will be razor sharp. And I guarantee you Newcastle won't know what's hit them. And I guarantee you we will even take the lead.
Do you know what?
I'm not going as far as Europe. If Nuno had come in 3 months ago, Forest right now would be 10th pushing up the table. I'll tell you that much, right? But right now we are where we are. And this is what's going to happen. And that's exactly what's going to happen.
I've just had an epiphany. Is that the right word?
Yeah,
it's Newcastle, right? So who should score a hat-trick against Newcastle?
Chris Wood.
The Jokers who tried to sell as a player who they thought was no good. But actually he's going to get a hat-trick against them.
That would be like a porno, man. Honestly, it would. That would be retribution for that 19 million pounds we spent. If it comes
Shelby.
To be honest,
just for that match.
Scoring a 1-0 win would be good enough, wouldn't it? We don't need him to get a hat-trick. 1-0 would be good enough with Chris Wood scoring.
He's better than 1 goal, you know. At least an assist and 1 goal from now on. Every match.
He should know their team inside out. He really should, right? And let me just run you the team that Newcastle lined up with yesterday against Luton, right? So you got Dubravka in goal, who's crap. Yeah. Burn, he's just lanky. You got Shaw. He's not going to score another screamer against us. Impossible.
Okay.
Lascelles, he'll still have his Forest
He's a
top
red.
on.
He's a red. Yeah.
Exactly. And then Trippier's been making mistakes left, right, and center. He's tripping over his own feet right now. Yeah, pun intended. Long shaft. I mean, he's just got a long shaft. That's all he's got at the moment.
Yates in the skies.
It's Yates, exactly. Bruno, he'll pull his hamstring on Tuesday.
Yates will kick him.
Miley is this new kid.
Sorry.
Yeah, the Miley's this new kid that's on, they're all trying to big up and put their hopes, and he's done okay, but he will get scared of the Garibaldi. And then you got Gordon, who's just a prick, right? And then Wilson, he's there. And then what do they call Almiron? What's do they nickname it? Miggy Blue Eyes, man. Nah, I'm telling you, right? We're gonna beat them. We're gonna beat them, and we're gonna beat them comfortably. And I've said my piece. You guys wait till the preview tomorrow.
If that was the team, that wouldn't be a particularly impressive team, if I'm honest.
Thank you.
I mean, it's nowhere near their first team, is it? So I'm not being disrespectful by saying that. That's not a particularly fabulous team, is it? The one you just read out.
And as is saying, Isaac will start over Wilson.
I hope so, because Isaac's shy.
He's worse. He's worse.
I know you like him, Wolfie, but
I do.
I've never. No.
He's not on the same level as Chris Wood, is he? Let's put it that way.
No, you know who he reminds me of? Seriously, Taiwo. It's like Langdon falls over his own feet, but gets goals. That's what it reminds me of.
I don't think Ant could have insulted a Langer and Taiwo more if he tried tonight.
I was gonna say, man.
So you're saying Taiwo's better than Isaac then? Isaac.
Taiwo's the best striker in the league, especially now Haaland's injured. He's pretty much first, isn't he?
Yeah, fair enough, mate. Yeah,
also,
so is
Taiwo's 2 weeks from being back fully fit, by the way. So
it'll be fit just in time for AFCON. Brilliant.
Yeah, then they get injured again.
Yeah, exactly. So that's my piece on it. Chat, get your scores in on the Newcastle game, right? Do you agree with me? I mean, RJL, thank you. Exactly. Take my advice. Put the money on them. Come for me if we lose, but share your winnings is all I'm going to say. Wolverine, would you put a cheeky bid in for Solanke? No, I wouldn't. Because one, according to Jace, he's called Solanko. And secondly, I hate him. I hate Boring Mouth with every fiber in my body. The way they celebrated yesterday, you would think that they won 2 European Cups. Oh, wait, that was us. Not them.
Beating Forest is equivalent to that. At the City Ground, especially.
Them and Jimmy.
Big day out. Be nice. Say a big day out. Come on.
I just hate them, man. They're just like, and they're just so.
They didn't even sell half their tickets because I was sat in one of their seats.
Yeah, no,
exactly. It's embarrassing. They're an embarrassing club. Even Sheffield Wednesday sold their tickets out against Forest this season.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, Sheffield Wednesday are a brilliant team. Probably my second team.
Yeah, and the biggest team in Sheffield as well. So
the biggest team in the whole of Yorkshire.
So anyway, and yeah, I just very quickly, just touching on the transfer window, we are being linked with some really good names, right? Jota being one of them. Now, don't get confused. It's not the Liverpool Jota. It's the El Tashio Jota with the really cool celebration. And I really like him. And there's been a couple of strikers linked as well. We'll have transfer videos probably starting from sometime next week. No, stoned roses. Get off the stonedness. It's not the Liverpool Jota. It's not the Liverpool Jota.
Hey, look, it's Nuno.
I hope it's starting next week because it's January next week.
Yeah, bloody hell, man. How are we going to fit everything in? We will try. There's a lot to update you guys on. But I want to end on a positive. I'm going to say 3-1 Forest. Ben, what are you saying?
Should do head and heart?
No, just give you what you think. No heart, just gives you what you think. Because heart, everybody wants to win 5-0. Don't mean anything. Head.
I mean, I was going to say 69-0, but head, I'm going to go 2-0 to Forest. 2-0 Forest.
Good head. Good. I've always thought you give good head, mate. Perfect. Brilliant. And
yeah, 2-0 Newcastle.
I said I wanted to end on a positive. All right, I'll just repeat my scoreline then. 3-1 Forest. And I'm not even convinced Newcastle get that one, right? I'm not even convinced. Now, we were going to be doing a preview with Adam Pearson, our YouTubing Newcastle mate, who we met at the FCAs when we went there. But there's just not enough turnaround time. So there'll be no fan-on-fan preview. It will just be...
No fan-on-fan action.
Yeah, no fan-on-fan action. So I'm just... Look, it's 3-0 or 3-1. If you guys are putting it on your accumulators or you are betting on the scoreline, I can't guarantee you 3-1 or 3-0. It will be one of them. That's all I'm saying, right?
Can we just...
Right, let's end on a positive. Everyone enjoy your holidays tomorrow. We do still
Merry
have...
Christmas, everybody.
Yeah, Merry Christmas.
Absolutely. Video coming out tomorrow for the Newcastle preview. Then we got the watch along. Remember, it's an early one, 12:30. So we'll be live for that. And then
Tomorrow's Christmas Day, isn't it?
Yeah, but we're still doing videos, mate. We never stop.
You don't get a day off, Anne.
I thought you said watch along. Sorry, I thought you said watch along.
Can we just finish on, because we need, obviously FFTV always give their tactics for the manager to choose. So Vlachodimos needs to start in goal tomorrow, Nuno. We just needed to say that because then Vlachodimos will start in goal. Not tomorrow. Day after tomorrow. Great film. On Tuesday.
Exactly.
You're joking, aren't you?
It's a great film.
You're joking, aren't you? You are joking when you say
with the wolves on the boat.
Hey?
All right, listen.
Am I thinking of the wrong one?
All right, you two shut up. Shut up! Right. I want to end on a positive, right? It's coming towards the end of the year. We've had a massive year at FFTV. When I say we, I'm talking about all of us, including the chat, right? You guys have got us through some difficult times, some fun times. It's been nothing but enjoyable to do this. It's knackering, but coming on live just to chat to you guys is absolutely what makes our day. So from all of us who do the stuff behind the scenes at FFTV or in front of the cameras, who whatever, we want to say a massive, massive thank you. And it is, as Ez says, FFTV's anniversary on the match against Newcastle. Hence another reason we are going to win. So thank you guys so much for another incredible year. We love you all. Keep this community going. It's with the community. Without the community, there's nothing, right? Nothing. And we love you for it. I don't know if you boys want to add any words from your end.
Yeah, I second what Wolfie said. Apart from Jimmy.
Yeah, no, and I'd like to say, yeah, I mean, the chat for me are just incredible. It's what makes it for me. I mean, how Wolfie does his individual videos without any chat there, I don't know, because I'd find that really boring to do, just listening to me talk.
That's why the videos are boring.
No, they're not. No, you do a great job. You do a great job. But it's the guys in the chat that keep me wanting to do more, keep me happy, and keep me giggling as well. So thanks everybody for that. And
Julian, you're such a softie. You're such a softie. You're such a softie, mate. Listen, importantly tomorrow, whether or not you're celebrating Christmas or not, make sure you spend it with your loved ones, apart from obviously when you watch the preview for the Newcastle game. We love you all. Enjoy the break. And let's end on that soppy, happy, clappy line. You Reds.